Hey guys, Megan Barnett with Bio Lounge. Listen, I thought I would shoot this video out here with my goats and my pony because today we're talking all about digestion. So one of the most common drugs that our patients come into the clinic using are PPIs. These are proton pump inhibitors. And typically you're going to be prescribed a proton pump inhibitor when you have signs of acid reflux, heartburn, or GERD, which is a more chronic condition of acid reflux. And these are drugs that do a very, very good job preventing the excretion of acid or hydrogen from the stomach. So it prevents the acid secretion. However, when we look at long-term use of PPIs, we have to think about what are the consequences of not producing acid in the stomach. So let me walk you through digestion. When you consume, let's just say you've eaten a salad with some chicken and some nuts and some seeds and a great variety of vegetables, okay? So when that food gets into your stomach, so not the entire abdomen, but the stomach, which is right under the rib cage, this is a highly acidic environment. This should be a pH of around 2 or under. It's like battery acid. If you were to touch it with your finger, you would actually get an acid burn. So what's the purpose? This is where your body starts to denature or unravel the proteins in your food. This highly acidic environment is what allows us to break these proteins down and start to cleave or take off the micronutrients in your food. So B12, iron, all the minerals, you're starting to pull that from the proteins, and it's breaking these proteins down into tiny little pieces, which allow you to break them down further in the intestines and then absorb them. Now, it's important to know that it's this very acidic environment that triggers the process of all of the rest of the digestion in your intestines. So if the food enters your intestines from the stomach at a high pH, the rest of digestion does not get the signal that it's time to go. Okay, but let's go back to the stomach. So you've eaten a salad with some chicken, you've got the protein in your stomach, and now you are secreting all of this acid to break it down. What happens if you're taking PPIs? You're not going to secrete that acid. That may mean that the pH of your stomach is 4 or 5 or 7. We're getting to even neutral spaces. So the protein hits your stomach, it doesn't break down well, pressure builds up, it can even exacerbate acid reflux, which is wild, okay? Now, the other thing we have to think about when it comes to PPIs is that when food enters your stomach, there may be microbes on that food. You could be, biting your nails, and there could be microbes moving down into your stomach just because you're biting your nails. So the other thing that's important to know about the stomach is that it's the first line of defense against infection that you may come in contact with on your food or other, like I do that a lot. Okay, so we have two things the stomach is primarily responsible for: breaking down protein so you can not only absorb the protein, but all of the nutrients on the protein, and also making sure that you do not get exposed to infections. So when you take PPIs over time, you are not digesting your food. Period, end of story. You're not absorbing nutrients, which means that you have risk of not only infection, but you also have risk of becoming malnourished. In fact, it's pretty unavoidable. So that's why there's risk of these other diseases, such as dementia, which is well linked to chronic PPI use. There are risks of osteoporosis. This makes sense. You can't absorb the minerals that your body needs to make bone, okay? You have risk of not being able to build muscle. Can't break the amino acids down into and absorb them across the intestinal barrier. We're seeing wild research come out around damage done to the intestinal and colon wall because the pH is not only affected in the stomach, it's affected all the way down the digestive tract, causing damage to the colon wall, where they're now finding that bacteria from your colon can move into the bloodstream over the damaged wall and then translocate to organs all over your body, including the mouth, where now you can develop periodontal disease. So by using PPIs, you're exposing yourself to the bacteria they should be killing, where it can then move into the bloodstream and back to other areas of your body. Here's what's important to know. There's a black box warning on these drugs that they should not be used for more than 6 weeks. We're seeing in the research if they're used for more than 12 weeks, you have increased risk. Some people we work with have been on these for years. So if you have been using PPIs, we know that you have increased risk of these diseases. We invite you to come in and see us because there are countless ways that we can wean you off of PPIs without risk of acid reflux, GERD, and heartburn, okay? And we can move you into a cycle of proper digestion while also managing your symptoms safely without the increased risk of disease. Well, pretty much every drug we have available to us provides some benefit. Oftentimes, we're not thinking through the long-term risks of using these drugs day after day after day. So with a functional medicine approach, you have an opportunity to deal with the symptom, but really look deeper at the root cause and protect your health long term.